these producers have been limited in their ability to disintermediate the system. And I think a digital food marketplace can help disintermediate some of those traditional systems and provide more margins for producers. And then on the buyer side, of course, these are, you know, shoppers at markets, as consumers, end consumers. And then this is also chefs, wholesalers, community supported agriculture, agritourism. So, you know, we're including all of these areas, as well as exporters, and some importers. So to be an exporter, sometimes you have to import products. But the big goal here, I think, for exportation is to be able to create on island instead of combining products from other places. Some of the challenges that a digital food marketplace faces is the adoption of online sales by grocery markets. And what these grocery markets do, for example, KTA, this is one of the checkout screens from KTA where you can now buy online and then pick up at the store, or have delivery perhaps to your home. I'm not sure they would deliver to me up in Mountain View for $8, but this is probably just a start for them. What they're not necessarily doing, as well as, you know, the other grocery markets, is they're not really connecting the producers and buyers. They're acting still as sort of this middle layer for producers and buyers, which, again, the challenge here is that this has been very successful in the past, and KTA, of course, is very successful, and if anyone can do this, they could likely do it. But I'm not sure that they're going to ultimately connect the producers and the buyers. Other challenges, of course, with farmers. In the photo here, you see Waipio Valley, limited internet connections. Things like sunlight affect our ability to look at screens in the field. And of course, buttons are never big enough. And, you know, there's just a whole ton of issues for farmers to connect with buyers. So
I'm sorry, can I just, what is the topic? What is the topic of this talk? What's the goal here? What are we trying to convey?
I think we're trying to convey both the challenges and solutions for a digital food marketplace.
This is all in lines for making, you know, Hawaii sustainable in its agriculture.
Okay, I just see these, trying to follow what's the common thread between these slides. But okay, at least if I get an idea, well, I'm not sure what that is, but at least I see, at least I can have a goal. Sorry.
Thanks for asking, Peter. I think the common thread is that there's a disconnection between these two groups. So they're relatively disparate groups that shows there's an opportunity, I think, for connecting those two groups together. But it comes with challenges and also assumptions that we should carefully consider. You know, should, for example, producers meet buyers? Is that a good idea? And should buyers meet producers? You know, we have people that you know, drive from the Hamakua side into Hilo to buy food and other things, and sometimes they may have a neighbor next door that runs a farm that they're unaware of because they've never actually been connected to them. Another assumption is that everyone has unique needs, and I would agree. I don't think that there's a wrong answer here when it comes to unique needs, but I also think that there's this 80-20 rule that says that 80% of the people are going to have similar needs, and those similar needs can be addressed. But also that once a connection is made, once you can see this online, then you start to realize that even disparate needs, unique needs, can be fulfilled in very creative ways if given the opportunity. So the solution and opportunity for producers is to connect them with buyers. And the solution, these solutions can come in the form of things like pooling resources, connecting with retreats who are looking to do farm to table, resort and hotel operators and their chefs, restaurants and food trucks, the ability to do online sales, pre-orders, pool resources to do deliveries, enable producers to do better planning so that they can step out of the commoditized markets and plant crops based on buyer needs. And then for buyers, they also have the option, right? So not to just flip these, but healthy meal planning becomes more possible when people have access to more organic options. And then we already see this working in places like Oahu with community-supported agriculture, where farmers pool resources to create boxes of fruits and vegetables that are planned in advance. You simply show up, pay for your box of fruit and vegetables, and you have what you wanted for your week of meal planning and food. We have a lot of project goals in addition to what I've covered in the slides. And I think that, you know, considering the idea of a food marketplace, I think these goals become not obvious, but I think that they become the goals of everyone on whether you're a producer, farmer, fisher, or a buyer, or a restaurant owner, et cetera. And so, you know, I hate to identify getting started steps, but hopefully this will sort of simplify this whole idea. So what we're talking about is building a website app that connects these producers and buyers. You know, that's the central goal of the food marketplace. And then it's not enough to simply buy something and they will come. What we're also hoping for is to teach classes, right? So here's how you submit what your product is that you're trying to sell that you've made. And here's how to buy that product from this person and where they're located, and exchanging these data points so that we disintermediate the current system, basically. And then doing so would raise awareness for new opportunities in agriculture, additional cost reductions, different and increased sales, agritourism like farm tours. I have examples, if you're interested, of farms that are already doing this on our island and on other islands. A timeline, this is super rough. We haven't really discussed this at all, and a timeline really depends on the scope, how deep and wide you want to go with the phase one if you were to do this. But basically, we need a few months to get something like this done. And then in addition to getting started, there's some direct next steps that I'm hoping to do right now. So looking for comments, ideas, suggestions, and hopefully attract a small group for testing and feedback of what we're trying to accomplish. I did want to thank you for sitting through that. I think we did 10 or 15 minutes. I also wanted to call your attention to some of my earliest efforts, not to show you what I've done and what our nonprofit did, but more importantly, to really highlight that a lot of the numbers that you hear, the metrics that you hear about agriculture, are the metrics that can be found in our island's first baseline study of sustainability. And this is where we worked with the county research and development to come up with these baseline metrics. And so I think this is a really interesting report. I think it's interesting because the numbers haven't seemed to have changed and we haven't followed up on this baseline study. So there's information in here that's valuable, perhaps more valuable than the 2050 plan, which is interesting, but perhaps a little less valuable in that it looks at a statewide approach. Okay, that's what I've got. And and in the background, I did want to mention that connecting producers and buyers of food, diversified agriculture is, of course, not the only issue that we have in Hawaii County. And so one of the things that I'm doing is I'm working on sort of a tech support for the island, where we open up an opportunity for a lot of people to address all of the issues. Meaning, if the issue isn't there, you can submit an issue and do things like that. So that's sort of a tech support system. And I think this local food marketplace addresses all of the issues, or allows for the addressing of all of the issues when it comes to local food.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you.
My first question is more for everyone else, but why the need for this this application, this online application, versus food hubs that are already in existence, and like your local grocery stores that sell like Mountain Apple brands, etc.?
Really good question. Really good question. Of course, UK's Mountain Apple brand had this idea 20 years ago. Maybe it's been 30 years now. And it's something that I've always deeply appreciated, because they were very successful in that effort. They expanded beyond food into music with the Apple Mountain brand music label, for example. What has also been going on is there are hundreds of organizations focused on this issue. Dozens of those organizations have come up with really great lists. So if you want to find farms, you can find farms online now. And if you want to find buyers, it's a little more difficult, but everyone's online now. Facebook has a marketplace. So why do we need a food marketplace? The main reason is that it's very challenging technically for our existing resources to create a food marketplace that works. And what I mean by that is the hard work still needs to be done. It's one thing to call every farm, as I did for the 2010 baseline study. It's very difficult to call every retreat or intentional community, everyone that's growing food. We can call them, but it's very hard to connect them. Only recently, in the last few years, have those tools been accessible. And so using those tools is something we can do to go that last mile and make those connections a reality.
So Peter's got a question.
I can just throw in, in addition, the state has extension agencies, Department of Ag, and all has extension agents, and the county, their R&D has agents who, that's their job. They've been doing it for years and years, coordinating the farmers in particular. In fact, Dai, one of our good friends of many of the people on this screens right now, was that agent for many, many years, and doing a great job. So, I mean, I didn't even hear any of that mentioned. To me, that would be step one. That's the number one. I mean, they're already doing that, been doing it for a long time, maybe without a website.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I did contact Dai back in 2009, 2010. That was what I thought would be the
that's
first
who
step.
you want. That's who you want. But
So I
put them on the salary, you'd be in good shape.
Charlene, did you have a question?
Yes.
Are you muted, Charlene?
No, I'm not. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So Brent, are you part of the Hawaii Island Food Alliance?
I'm not.
Okay, because this sounds awfully familiar. I'm sorry, with the food access coordinator, it seems like they're trying to do all that and they have the connection. So I would encourage you to just join them, because it's like deja vu, or there's something going on here. I'm not really sure, but I think they're doing a lot of what you're saying. I'm not, you know, I'm not a farmer, so I cannot tell you. I am a consumer, however, so you might want to just check that out. And it's Maurice has all that information too.
Yeah, I do
And-
have HIFA's information. I've sat on a meeting, but it wasn't strictly for HIFA. It was for the Hawaii Island food systems study, something like that. I'm forgetting.
Well, anyway, they have a monthly meeting, and they have they have the producers, they have the distribution issues that you've talked about. Councilman Richards,
Yeah, Tim
Richards,
Richards.
yeah, Tim Richards has talked to our group, plus he's part of that group. So there's a lot of things that you're mentioning that have actually lifted already. So you might want to just connect with that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Several other organizations like Hawaii Seed, Go Farm Hawaii, Love Big Island, who does a great job at identifying agritourism on the island with a map. There's the Hawaii Homegrown Network. You know, this is something I've researched deep and wide, and I think all of these groups would benefit with a food marketplace. And I think that is a shared vision, a shared goal. This is certainly nothing new. I think with support from the county, I think we could increase exposure for such an application. Yeah, I agree 110%. It's just when I've joined all of the groups in the past, I kind of get inundated, right, with a lot of messages. It becomes difficult to keep up with. But my research hasn't borne any of the websites or applications that are actually doing the connections yet. One-to-one, right? But I think digital allows us to make those connections thousands to thousands.
Yeah, from the brief, you know, time that I've had to spend in some of those other meetings, I hear about the studies that are being done, but there is no set plan to, at least that's being publicized as to what's being done with the information. There's a lot of, you know, data gathering and mapping, et cetera, and coming to, I think is definitely the first step. But I think what Brent has is a tool that may be what some of them, you know, have as objective, perhaps, but not as a whole yet. Give me 1 second, my battery's about to die.
Well, this is Charlene. I know, were you part of the food summit last year?
Probably not.
Okay, so I guess I have a little different read on it. So anyway, maybe you can connect with Sarah Freeman with the research and development, because they're doing a lot of action items as well, not just talk, not just planning. Okay, thanks.
Okay, awesome. Does anyone have any other questions? No? Okay. Brent, you're welcome to stay. We're gonna just go about our regular meeting stuff. But you're welcome to stick with us, or if you got other things to do, you're welcome to sign off.
Well, thank you so much. And I am super interested in Rotary Club. You know, the organizations are the way to spread the message. And so I really appreciate the opportunity just to share the idea. And I believe these ideas manifest whether I'm involved or not. And I think that the work that we did in 2010 will manifest. I think that it will take hold. And I'll look to some of these groups, Charlene, to see if, you know, take a little closer look and see if there's already an effort underway to make these connections. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you so much.
Brent, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I would say the Rotary clubs are a really great network, not just on Hawaii Island, but throughout the state. There's over 50 clubs and about 1,500 Rotarians statewide, and they're typically the the shakers and movers in whatever area they're at. So, yeah. Plus look how fun we are. You would. Who wouldn't want to be part of this group?
Rotary gets it done.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone. I really
Thanks, Brent, for joining us. Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, Vincent.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, Brent.
Aloha, Maurice.
Yeah.
We have some announcements. Let's see, October 17th is the district grant qualification, which Doug has said that we need to have 2 members of our group attend. Greer has already volunteered. I was hoping to get maybe Kat or Tracy. I know Tracy's busy, and Kat has been doing the Department of Health study, volunteering for that, which was definitely underattended this last weekend. I got caught up with work, and I knew I would be, so I never signed up for it. But it'd be great if we can get that filled this next Saturday from 9.
Well, I'll be in the meeting because I'll be running the Zoom part, so I'll be there. So I mean, the goal is to get 2 people from every club to go. And Keith's already going to. It's kind of the mandatory thing for the president-elect. So I think Keith doesn't have to go, but it'd be really good if he could go.
Okay.
But I'll be in the meeting too if nobody else can go. At least Keith and I will be there.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then we have an environmental focus group that's going to be an online Zoom meeting on October 21st. October 24th is World Polio Day, which we have to figure out how we're going to be involved in that. I'm not sure what we've done in the past, but now with COVID, I'm sure that changes things.
Yeah. There's a event. The world the Polio Plus people are gonna put on a statewide Zoom event on that day. So you can anybody in the district can log in on it, and then obviously if you want to donate money to Polio Plus, we could do it as a club or individually, whatever works.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then October 31st is college financial aid. Is that, I believe that's supposed to be like a presentation for those going to college. If you know any college-bound students, it'd be a great idea to get them hooked up to that meeting to learn about how financial aid works and certain crucial deadlines, like for the FAFSA, for example. I will be
For the Rotary stuff or in general? Because I think for the Rotary grant stuff, you can't be associated with the Rotarian, can't be related to Rotarian. So
This isn't for the grant. This is just to help college-bound students.
in general, financial aid.
It's actually an interact thing that the youth services people are putting it on for statewide for all the kids that are in interact.
What else
I was
do we
going to
have?
mention when you're talking about days, if I can throw in another one. It's a little last minute, but Thursday, day after tomorrow, is World Hand Washing Day. I know that because I'm a representative of the Water and Sanitation Health Action Committee of the Rotary
Cool.
International. So I can provide
hand
all the
washing?
information you want about hand washing.
Oh my.
Cool.
It is actually
Maurice, did you not get my emails?
Associated with a number of projects.
I-
I get in.
I think I get them.
Did you, I think I sent out to the group for the Peace Committee. We have an event this Friday, the Kako workshop.
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. I missed
mean,
that one when it was
Yeah,
posted.
that's a big one because the club is part of this effort. And Peter, that's the one you participated in last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be probably in the dentist's chair right then. There.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that. Sorry about that. Oh, not too many visuals. But you know, it's free. It's right now there's about maybe 40 people signed up, and normally we get about 80 to 100. And for those who can attend, and you know, I think I'm going to go back to the old method, which is just send it out by email, because I don't know how we're getting information out to the group, and I guess I'll have to figure that out. And Kat, I know that you put it up somewhere, but I guess because I'm not that media engaged, that's and that's my own choice. That's my choice. So I got to either jump in or have a different way of pushing out information. But we are having it, and
What time, Shar? What time is it? 5 o'clock?
it's 5:45 to 7,
5:45.
and there's a workshop. And Nancy Cabral is going to be talking about their 100th year anniversary and you know some of the service projects they've done in the past. So I thought it'd be a nice way for them to highlight what they've done for the past 100 years. So I'll figure out a way to get the email out, and I'll talk to Tracy. She probably has an email list, right?
And you did real well. This is Catherine chiming in. You did real well sending it to me directly for Facebook posting. So that worked out. I'm happy to advocate and help with that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, because that's an area where I need to work on, I think, to be relevant. I'm going through an existential moment where it's like, you're going to be relevant or irrelevant. Jump in, get out, shelf life.
Charlene, you're so relevant. And can I just real quick say, like, I'm so grateful to have joined the club and to have you as a strong pillar in it. You keep the peace at our core values, and you help us all stay enthusiastic about what's happening. So thank you for being so relevant in our club, Charlene.
But anyway, I didn't need that, but thank you. But I'll get that out. Oh, Pat, I like that. I know you know how to use the reactions. Very good. What happened to Glenn? Is Glenn left already? Oh my!
Yep.
Oh well.
And where you went?
Oh, I don't know. And Keith Merrick, thank you for hanging in there. If you're still there. Thank you.
Good. So that's the normal mediation one we have every year, right? Around this time, right?
Except right, but it's gonna be a workshop about standing up and making your. When you there's so much dissension and divisiveness now. So ōhi'a Gaianzo is going to be our speaker. And I want to share with you, because there are 3 people who went to a youth builders program that was sponsored as a community event with the prosecutor's office funding it. And the interesting part I just found out is that ōhi'a, our speaker, was involved with this youth builders program. The Ashley Kirkowitz was involved with the youth builders program with St. Joseph. And then I found out that Keldon Waldron, our prosecutor-elect, was also involved. So I thought to myself, oh, maybe it does make a difference. You know? So it's encouraging that we just can't lose the fight. You know, you just have to do whatever you need to lift all the kids and the community to continue the positive work, you know. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, I'll send it out. Yeah,
and if you've never heard ōhi'a present before, he's an excellent presenter. He actually spoke at our club maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And he used to be one of the communication directors under Billy Kinoy. He's great, and he's been one of the main moderators at all these mayors forums, you know, like Mr. Moderator. So yeah, he'll do a good job. So thanks, Shar. That'll be cool.
Yeah. So I think he'll be relevant to what we're dealing with now, especially with social media. And there will be not breakout groups. There'll be exercises. It's not just a talk. It's going to be some exercises too.
Oh, cool. So we need more exercise. That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one reason why we better come, because we all need the exercise.
it's so funny.
So at least we can, at 5:45, I mean, it's legit totally to start drinking, right? I mean, if you
You can,
5, then you'd be like pre-game. You'd be at full speed by 5:45, you know.
so funny. You.
I mean, I'm out of work at 4:30. That's when I start.
You're so funny. In fact, I was thinking about this. We should, and I appreciate the president, the leadership. You guys meet like what, 3 or 4 times a week. I don't know. Your schedule is incredible. But we should do like a social thing with our Rotary clubs, just kind of have,
Yeah.
and they do it, I know, for the district. I'm just saying maybe not every week or every month, but just something to, oh, you're so funny.
That's on it.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing too loud. Sorry.
Have
sorry.
you guys ever heard of Bailey's in your morning coffee? I mean,
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it until you said it. Oh, that would be really good.
Yeah.
daily dose.
So,
Daily dose. That's too
Daily
funny.
dose.
That is too
What's
funny.
really in there?
Yes.
Margaret makes a great Bailey's recipe from scratch. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Really? With the
Yeah.
cream? Or just the cacao, I mean the Bailey's and cream? Or the just
No,
the,
she makes it from scratch. So everything to make like the Irish coffee cream or whatever with all the whiskey in it. It's so dangerous and so good.
yeah, I used to do that in college. Oh, maybe I should do that again.
Yeah.
That was
are you
pretty
guys
good.
interested in hearing some of the results regarding the surveys?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're interested. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to have to run. I got a meeting at 2 that I need to get to. But can I just ask one thing before we go? And that is just in general, these meetings, we have how many members in our club now? 50 at least, I think.
30,
Yeah?
36.
But yet our meetings is maybe same 4 or 5 people, never more than 6 or 8. What's going on with that? The people, and now there's not even a reminder before, I'm
Well,
wondering.
this is, I think, the first time I didn't send a reminder and I was having
No,
technical
that's
difficulties.
not
But-
all on that. It's just in
But it's
general.
always on the
All in-
website as
all-
well. And as far as participation goes, I don't know. Some of that I was trying to address in the surveys. Did you look at the surveys?
I
Yeah.
kinda
I actually filled mine
after
out.
a while, I don't know how many surveys there are. I kept getting survey here, there. I did 1 or 2, and then I thought, oh, did I do this already? I don't know. Then it says again, but I did a couple probably.
Okay, yeah, there were only 2. There was another one that was generated because Doug shared the link with most of the district, and so we had from other clubs I never heard of taking our survey.
Yeah, I just stopped filling them out after a while. I figured there must have.
But yeah, it was just those 2, and I was trying to gauge if people wanted to hear different speakers. People are holding off because they wanted to meet in person, and that's what they're really waiting for. And the answers really ranged between that. Some people are waiting for in-person meetings. They have no interest in meeting online. Other people have said they just don't have time. They're that's it. One person said they have no intention of making any meetings. They just want to be a member. So
Wow.
yeah, those were some of the responses at that end. There were a little bit of the people that responded, a small majority said that they enjoyed the speakers that we have. Then there was almost as many people, but maybe just a few less, that said that they would like to have more speakers, like on other subjects, which I'm lining up. And then we have, what were some of the other questions? Oh, as far as, wanting to meet in person, I already said that. Some people said it depends on the COVID levels, what the current levels are locally. the majority of the people said that we should, that they'd rather wait until this is passed and there's some sort of resolution. But there were a few people, I think 4 people, who said that they would like to meet in person, even as things are. It was great to see, though, that the overwhelming majority, I'd say, 50% of the people who submitted the surveys wanted to do in-person community service events. And there were a group of people who said just
I really have to go though, but yeah, there's survey this, but in the big picture though, the club is going down less and less and less and less. I don't know if we're going to have much of a club left by the end of the year like this. So
we may not.
For some sort of strategy or how we're going to address and this kind of thing. But I do have to go though. Sorry to leave you on that happy note.
Okay.
But, I think something we
Okay,
need to.
stop taking grumpy pills.
But,
Stop taking those grumpy.
but it is an issue that every single club in our district is facing right now. Everybody is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking for a way to come out.
Yep.
The Hilo Club seems to, but anyhow, I got to figure out how to get out of here.
Okay, see you later.
Right.
What about the other question you had about ag as the focus? Did you answer that? And I was distracted.
Well, why don't we just do this? Hold on one second here. Where are they? Can you see that okay?
If you can do the escape thing out, yeah. Oh, there you go.
You see that okay?
Okay.
Can't see everybody, so I don't know if that's an affirmative or not, but.
Okay.
Is that presenting okay?
Yeah, but except it's not moving.
Yeah.
Mine is not moving. I have that one screen. I hear you clicking too.
Yeah, I'm just moving stuff around so I can see it. I'm hoping you can see
We-
it as is. I know if it's moved into a certain spot, it doesn't show right, so I don't know. Because I don't have it on full screen. I'm trying to see you guys and share.
That's all right.
So you can see here, as far as, do you feel the current threat of COVID-19 that we should abstain from in-person meetings, even if we strictly follow social distancing, mask wearing, and hand sanitizing? So we have 7 who said yes, 5 who said if we should choose to meet in person, we should be able to, and 6 say that it depends on the current rates of COVID. So I was surprised to see there as many as 5, but very pleasantly surprised to see that as many as 9 people said that they believe that we can still volunteer and keep each other in our community safe. One person said they don't have time these days. 3 said if they think it's irresponsible at this point. But 5 said no, even though they believe that we can keep each other safe. But that's their personal, choice, but they think others could. So given this information here, I would like to move forward with in-person community service events. And we can talk more about what we want those to be. But I would like to get out there and start doing stuff at least once a month.
Can I ask a question? What you're thinking as far as community service, what is in your mind as far as getting out there? Because you can get out there, but not necessarily have to be, in terms of the interaction. Because like, for example, trying to do a rice drive at KTA would be a no-go now, right? Although what has been done is if you buy the rice and, like break it down and distribute it, like how the Hilo Bay Club does, then that would be less exposure, I guess the word I want to say. And there's other ways of having community service and still being out there without necessarily being what we've done in the past. I'm just thinking aloud.
Right. So yeah, what I'm saying is we could go to KTA and still have signs rice rally, purchase a bag of rice, and they don't physically have to get it. Just at the register, they say they're buying one, and KTA can tally it all up at the end, and have a pallet of rice ready that nobody's touched. Put it on the back of a truck, and we bring it over. We can still, that's one way we can do things there. We can still do, plastic collections for Puna Precious Plastic, or when the beaches are open, we can go do beach cleanup, because we weren't able to do that in September. The month for that kind of thing. I'm just saying there's quite a few things that we can do and still maintain our distance and not pose a threat. So,
what about the satellite club? Maurice, are you working with the satellite club?
No, I haven't worked with the satellite club at all.
Yeah, no, I've been working a little bit with them. They're kind of dormant right now, and we're sort of waiting a little bit. I'm in contact with some of the members of that who just was sort of like lying low. But yeah, I'm going to take basically the responsibility for getting that like fired back up again.
Because if we incorporate them somehow, because their interest was doing community service, right? And so they might join us if the meeting was less like like this, where it's just information, more in terms of, okay, this is what we can do for service, and some action that's like a takeaway that they do right away. I don't know what the takeaway would be, but it might be ways to get food or whatever the community needs. And food is going to be number one coming up in the next 3 months, I think, or beyond the CARES money. So,
exactly. And we have at least 9 people, that are interested in moving service events. So, I think if we start advertising that we're going to do some, advertising to our clubs, club members, I think we can, definitely put together a successful community service event. So we'll be doing that moving forward. The third question was concerning taking up this new focus for the club to be focusing on Hawaii and self-sustaining in its agriculture, energy production, and also focusing on reducing and repurposing its waste stream for 10 years. So when people agreed that we should take up this focus, 4 people object and think that they should give it up to the president each year, and 2 people had no opinion. And then 1 person emailed me separately and said they fell in between, somewhere in between, and wanted to have an opportunity to talk about it more, but wasn't against it being a focus, but wanted to make sure that the focus was flexible enough that it would allow each president some flexibility, which is why we're, when I was talking with Keith Greer, agreed to make it about sustainable agriculture, energy production, and reducing the waste stream. Actually, Keith Greer was the only person to give me any truly constructive advice or criticism on that, as far as shaping the message. Pretty much everybody else either said it was a good idea, just said it would be rough to take that up, but they weren't against.
Well, okay. Am I on? Yeah. I just wanted to let you know that I thought this was it didn't allow for enough conversation and discussion. So there wasn't a explain or what's your thought. It wasn't open-ended. It was one other, no opinion. So I think that going forward, since, Tracy's not even here, Kat's here, it's up to the 3 to figure out how to go forward in the next 5 years, right? So it's
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was an idea that wasn't met with any resistance whatsoever. You know, when I personally brought it up to people, and Keith said, well, you know, it's Hilo. And
what's that supposed to mean?
well, people.
So Charlene, what
Oh,
that
Charlene,
means
you
is
said
that
it yourself.
here,
Charlene, you said it yourself. People won't tell you what they think to your face, right?
Well, I told you.
Yeah, well, Keith basically was saying that.
Yeah, but you're an exception.
yeah.
Sorry.
So all I was saying is that I found from my short experience here is that if people object, they'll generally just say stay silent rather than saying anything at all.
Right.
So I've had to learn how to take silence as a form of objection, being a part of this community.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a slam against Hilo. So anyways, you know, I look at this in a very positive light. I think that that's a pretty good percentage, you know. And, you know, if the conversation, and so you know, Charlene, none of this was meant to be an end all. Most of this specifically designed to give me some feedback and to start the conversation or to restart some conversations, depending on what it is, right? So, you know, here we have this information and we can, you know, discuss what we want to do, discuss, you know, somebody had at some point that they want more actionable items. They want to know what we do. Like they like our speakers, but what can we do? And, you know, that's something that I've been lamenting over. This has been extraordinarily difficult for me because I'm a person of action. And, you know, with this COVID environment and with some of the feedback that I've gotten, any action might be viewed as very negative as far as potentially subjecting to, you know, exposure or what have you, which I certainly don't want to do. But I certainly don't want to upset people, you know, making,
Well,
you know, I would like to gain favor, you know, or people's favor by doing good, actionable things. It's what I signed up for, whether we're, you know, in a pandemic or not.
So perhaps, so going back to community service, I have an idea because did we get the grant for our district? Did we get the grant? We did, right?
I haven't found out if we have the money yet. I gave all the information to Zeta recently, and it should all be done or on the way.
Yeah, we're done. We got the matching check from Juana. She just texted me actually during.
Oh yeah, good job, Pat.
Yeah, so we have the matching funds. So she's just gonna send me the check, and once I deposit it into our grant account, then we can get the other half.
Because, you know, if you want to have an actionable thing, I mean, I'm just trying to make more concrete because, you know, I think for a lot of people, can you hear me? A lot of people don't understand what you're talking about. Or like this guy Brent, I mean, it's like all over the place, you know, and the Haifa's doing some of the stuff he's talking about. So I'm kind of going, wait. So I think it's kind of more so broad. And if you want to take it down and drill it down, like to a community service project, you know, we could do something that's agriculturally related, like getting CTAR involved, master gardeners, and we could, through the money, to the grant that you got, the district grant, not only buy the ulu trees, the fruit trees for the shelter at Sacred Hearts and elsewhere,
Right.
but
know,
set aside some money and actually have some actionable thing, and people could work on it on their own, like now, and they might actually engage more. You know, I'm just thinking aloud. I don't know if this is right or not, but
right. Well, as far as the grant goes, that's a separate part of my brain. You say grant, that's a community service project, but I don't think of it when I think of community service project for some reason, just because it's a much bigger already planned thing that's going to happen, whether or not we're doing other community service projects. But there is a big community service project that we are going to be moving forward with, hopefully next month. And I need to do a lot of planning surrounding that.
Wait.
And
When next month? Because
I don't know, but I'm hoping that we can at least start next month, whether it's sourcing. Because I assume we'll have the money in hand sometime by the beginning of November. Then we can put in our orders and get, get everything going. As far as actually doing the planting, probably not. We'll have to see, but we'll have to see when the money comes in and see what's available, because not all the nurseries are going to have what we need right away. So we may have to put in an order and wait until spring to actually do the work.
Yeah.
But that is,
Well, we're going to be able to get access to that money relatively quickly now, and it would be good if we could correlate with the rest of the district is trying to do a district-wide tree planting at the end of November. Some of the clubs, mostly the Oahu clubs, are participating in it. The Outer Island clubs are kind of on their own. If they can participate, they can participate. So if we could do it in conjunction with those guys, it's November 28th, that'd be great. If not, we can do it on our own. Not a problem. But it's tree planting, so right in our wheelhouse.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to breathe through the wellness questions. There's 5 there. Has COVID-19 affected you personally or in a profoundly negative way? If so, are you getting the support you need, and how can our club help you? Elaborate as much as possible. The overwhelming majority of the answers were that everyone was fine. We have one who said that they're unhappy about their social life being limited, especially their grandchildren. One said difficulty in travel and seeing doctors. Another said additional childcare. And one person said on the positive side, they're able to save a lot more. So has COVID-19 profoundly affected your business to meet or means to make money? If so, are you getting the support you need? Elaborate as much or as little as you're comfortable with. One person said they're not sure about the future, but they're okay for now. Another person said they won't make it if this keeps on going, if this goes much further economically. Another person is suffering because their vacation rental has been empty since March. Some people are retired. Those were the only people who indicated that they were having any trouble. Didn't indicate how we could help. Question 3, not counting COVID-19 related hardships and losses, are you okay? Is there any way that the club can help you or support you more? One person was worried about economic and social collapse. The only actionable response here, someone's looking for a live-in nanny for housing. So if you know of anyone who's willing and to be in person, in-home live-in nanny, please let me know and I'll make sure that information gets out. And then somebody misses their family on the mainland. And then there was some appreciation for compassion doing this survey. Question 4 was asking what we can do to help curb the COVID spike that may be likely coming. In overwhelming, everyone says we just need to keep on wearing masks and promote others to wear masks. If we can continue to distribute masks, help social services that have been cut. One person said we have to hold off on tourists. And then another person said, Japan has 50% of the population, but only 1,400 deaths. There's more we can do by wearing masks properly. And our last question, is there anything you'd like to share or add? There were 3 people who expressed a lot of appreciation for sending these surveys out. And then only one person who wrote anything other than that. It was the period before and through the vaccine will require patience, tolerance, and compassion as we balance personal safety and economic security. Those are, that's the gist of the responses from those surveys. So just to share that with you.